so many women from so many places. And again, welcome to everyone who's just joining. We're going to take a little while here before we get started. Go ahead and write where you're calling from or where you're joining in from. Welcome, welcome. I love technology. Isn't this so amazing? So many different women from so many places. It's so awesome. I'm so excited. Wow. I love watching the number go up as we all start joining. We have 84 women here. Yay, we have a few more minutes before we get started. So just settle in, let us know where you're calling from or calling in from. You can take this poll. It's popping up on your screen now to answer a few questions. Welcome, welcome everyone. We're gonna get started shortly. Settle in, let us know where you're from. Yay, we have 100 people here with us today. That's so amazing. Keep it coming. Ladies are still joining. Let us know where you're joining from. We'll get started here shortly. You'll see a poll pop out on your screen. You can go ahead and fill that out. Welcome, everyone. So wonderful to have you here. Welcome, welcome. We're going to take a few minutes before we get started. We're just settling in. So a little bit of framework. If you're going to be sitting here and participating in the Zoom and very present, feel free to turn on your camera. If you have to be double tasking today, please keep your camera off. But ideally, you can be here with us. You can drop in with us. We can be in circle while I share all of this with you. But so if you can go ahead and turn your camera on. But be mindful of being distracting. So if you're going to be here present, which I highly recommend if you can, sitting here fully present to receive all of this wisdom that I'm going to share with you, all this experience. And if you can't, that's okay. We're just going to wait for a few more minutes. Go ahead and share where you're tuning in from. So special to be here with all of you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. We can go ahead and we can get started. Hi. Hi, everyone. Now that I'm not showing my screen, I can see where you're all calling in from. I see New Jersey, I see Alaska, I see the UK, I see the Netherlands, Canada. Wow, this is so beautiful. South Africa, Brazil. Oi, Juliana, oi. Eu falo português pouco. We have Oregon. Oh, thank you so much for joining us today, my sisters. It's so wonderful to have you here. So special. Shayna is on the call. I want to introduce Shayna. Shayna is my business partner. Shayna, go ahead and introduce yourself. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Shayna. Hi, everyone.
Shayna's going to be the co-host this evening or today, and she might chime in if I forget something. It's beautiful having a sister to support.
Lauren's going to rock this.
I'm so excited. So this is something that I'm so passionate about. I'm so passionate about the power of transformation that can happen in a women's circle and the power that can happen for the world when women are gathering on the same night in circle in the same theme and intention. And that is something that I've been living and experiencing and being humbled by for the past 4 years of my life. And I want to tell you a little bit about my journey and about Global Sisterhood and about the mission of Global Sisterhood. But first, I want to invite us all, and I do this in every single circle that I ever lead. I'm going to ask us all to close our eyes for a second and just take a few deep breaths. This is what I call presencing. This is a drop in. Just take a few deep breaths and let the energy settle. There's so many women from so many places on this call today. So let's let our energy settle and really ground towards the earth. Whatever we have been through earlier today or whatever comes next, let's just allow all of it to fall away, the future and the past. And let's really let ourselves be present here. Making contact with the earth below us. And taking a few cleansing breaths. Feeling your heart and what brought you here to this call, to this training. And opening our hearts and minds to receive what we are meant to receive through this experience together. Being open, being present, being here, doing our best to be fully here to really receive this transmission. So it is my intention for that this experience be something that is very empowering and uplifting and inspiring for all of us. And so with that intention, let's take one deep breath together, one more deep breath. And exhale. And then we can gently open our eyes and we can officially begin this virtual training. So, first step, did you see what I did there? Whenever I'm leading an experience, new experience, or eyes are on me, I can get nervous. There's a lot of energy to hold. Women come from different places. We have different energy. And as an empath and someone who's sensitive, I feel all of that. And so I ask women to ground in, take a few deep breaths, and that helps me ground in too. So whenever I open anything, I'm facilitating anything, I always do that. And it's a trick to get the women centered, but also to get me centered. So take note of that. So today, I keep saying tonight because I'm seeing some women where it's nighttime. So excuse me if I go back and forth. So today, this evening, this moment in time, we're going to go through a beautiful experience. I want to share with you a little bit first about the vision and the mission of Global Sisterhood and the history of women's circles and the power that I've witnessed within them and that hundreds of women that I know have witnessed. And then I want to share with you or do a little exercise with you to get you really ready to receive this wisdom and these tools and techniques. And then I'm going to go through a presentation with you, and I'm going to teach you how to lead a women's circle right here to the best of my ability in this hour and 15 minutes we have together. And then I'm going to bring on 3 Global Sisterhood facilitators, really amazing women who facilitate Circle Story Global Sisterhood, so you can hear real life stories about how they started and what their struggles have been and the transformation that they've experienced. They're beautiful, amazing women. So highly suggest that you are here for that. And then afterwards, I'm going to offer you my best resource that I have for you. It's the best tool that I have for you to get started. And then we'll do Q&A. And so that means I'll be able to bring some of you on live, whatever's coming up for you, any questions, something you want me to go over in more detail. I'm going to try to stay on as long as I can to answer those questions. Sound good? Yeah? I want to scroll through and see some of your beautiful faces. Hi, everyone. Oh, it's so beautiful to see you all. Okay, so a little bit about me. My name is Lauren Elizabeth Walsh, and I live in Austin, Texas. And I have a history in my past of trauma, of being a woman who's experienced a lot of pain in my life. And I went down a very destructive path. And then I had what I can only call a spiritual awakening, but I don't mean it in some glorious, enlightened way. I mean, I woke up by living in the Amazon with indigenous people to the desire, the ache, the burn, the call I had inside of myself to really know myself and love myself and heal myself, and to also help others who suffer in the same way. I woke up to this calling. And so I began to follow this calling, and I began to heal myself through different explorations and different healing modalities. And I found myself in sister circles. I found myself in true sisterhood, the type of sisterhood where I could share my most hidden feelings, the shameful feelings, the shadows. I could also share and practice being as big and bold and as beautiful and as wild as I am, and still feel loved and accepted and encouraged. And so I began helping women and supporting women and leading women's circles and leading workshops. And that's about a decade, 12 years worth of work. And about 4 years ago, I felt a call to call out to the world and ask women to gather in circle, of every culture, of every tradition, to gather in circle in every nation and to synchronize an intention for the healing of the feminine in our world. And I created a video, and that video went viral. And then we had 650 women's circles gather on International Women's Day in 2016, which ignited a global movement, a movement that I did not start, a movement that started many, 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 many years ago. And this is a movement of women rising, the power of women coming to help heal our world. And the art of sister circles, the practice of sister circles, is this ancient, ancient practice that dates back thousands and thousands of years ago. And it was a very common thing for women to gather in circle and to have deep conversations, to share about what was going on in the community. These were wisdom councils. There were also moon lodges where women would go and they would menstruate. And there was very nurturing things that would happen within that kind of circle as well. But then we get into this era, and there was like about a 500-year period where women's circles were very taboo. In fact, women who gathered in circle and shared this knowledge with each other and this experience with each other, they were labeled as witches. And we began this whole period of women who were medicine women, women that were living in their feminine, women that were living in their mystical essence. And a woman's power, whether religious or not, in essence is mystical. It's connected to everything. It's connected to nature. It's intuitive. And this was a threat to the status quo. This was a threat to convention. And therefore, women's circles and these types of things were a threat. And so they were labeled as inappropriate. And so women had to go underground. They'd have to hide to have these types of experiences. And then comes along the suffragette movement, and then the feminist movement. And in the 60s and 70s, circles had a comeback. But this comeback was short-lived, and it kind of fizzled out a little bit for a while. But then in the 80s and the 90s, circles emerged in a big way. A lot of women in the baby boomer generation really carried the reemergence of circles. And so to those women, I humbly bow, because I believe that this generation really paved the way for women like me and younger generations to feel free and safe, to really explore what our feminine power really is. These women really, really worked hard for that. And so flashback to 2016, when we launched this movement, we created this call. Women were ready for it. They were like, yes, let's do it. And global sisterhood was the first time to ever synchronize these circles together. Women were gathering, but we created the platform and the ability and the technology, the map for women to gather, and then resources and a way for women to go through and have the same conversations around the way we relate to our body, the way we relate to our relationships or our voice or our power or our sexuality, and to not do them in silos, but to do them in our individual groups, but connected to the whole. And so that's what Global Sisterhood is. And since that day in 2016, we've helped over 15,000 women's circles gather. And a lot of these circles gather every month using our resources. We provide rituals, we provide content, we provide wisdom, discussion prompts. We provide a Facebook group and a community for women to really gather and to support each other in their leadership. And so it's an honor to do this work, and it's an honor to impart to you what I know about this work. And obviously there's so many things about circles that can be very intuitive and in flow, because that's the point. There's some real true beauty and spontaneity and allowing for exploration and flow. But there's some really important guidelines and structures that I would like to share with you to really help that circle have the transformative power that it can have and create the connection, the type of connection that so many of us long for. We talk so much about community in this world, but often we go to events where it's not safe to share your deepest truth. It's a networking event, or there's people you're related to that you don't really feel open with. So there's a magic in a circle where we create a safe space for deep sharing. We can truly heal. It's actually a chemical response that happens. We release oxytocin when we feel safe and we feel heard. And in that space, we can then explore who we are without feeling locked up. So even as a facilitator who's holding the space, it goes for the same. It's the same for women holding the space and for the women who are in the space as well, because a circle, while there is a facilitator, no one is better than the other. We are all wise here. We are all the same here. And we create that safety so that we can all explore ourselves, find our voices, find our power, find a deeper sense of leadership. What does leadership even mean to me? And then it also helps us figure out where we want to go in life, how we want to navigate certain situations. And in Global Sisterhood, we always like to work with a theme. And this theme helps us bring the collective energy of our circle into a common thread, and then we can explore different parts of ourselves in a deeper way. And so with that, I want to talk a little bit about how I feel women gathering in circles can transform the world. And I really do believe that the more and more women who really claim their power and really explore what their power is, then we're not going to be feeling like we're less than men. We're not going to feel angry at men. We're going to be able to rise fully in our female power, our feminine power. And we're going to be able to enlighten. We're going to be able to express love and gratitude and teach a new way of being on this planet. And we can explore that together in circles. And so every woman who starts a circle, or every woman who attends a circle, she's adding to this movement. She's adding to this world of transformation. The more we transform ourselves, the more we're able to help the transformation of people in our families and in our communities. And that's what a sister circle is all about. So let's go ahead and do a little exercise. Does everybody have a piece of paper with them? Great, and some pen and a pen. Great, awesome, great. So let's close our eyes for a second. And I just shared a whole bunch of my inspiration with you, what I envision for our world, why I feel so called to circles. Now it's time to really search your heart. What brought you here? What is your passion about circle? Why do you want to learn how to lead one? Go ahead and just feel into your passion. Allow your passion to fill your heart. You might have a passion for community. You might have a passion for healing. You might feel lonely and want sisterhood. You might want to create safe space for women to share. You might want to dive into your spirituality. What is the passion that has brought you here tonight? Take a few deep breaths into this. And then go ahead and journal about this for just 1 minute. Go ahead and just write it down onto your paper. And even if it's all of what I just said, write it down in your own words. What's true for you? Each one of us has a very special mission. Go ahead and write that calling, write what you feel inside. And if you finish, go ahead and, if you feel comfortable, share in the chat box what brought you here. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of similarities. I'd love to hear from you. To empower each other. Yep. To empower women. Sacred healing. Yes. It's time for the feminine to rise. It's time for women to heal. Wow, it's going so fast. So many things to grow connections and community, curiosity. You're a healer, curious about the mystical and magical forgotten experience of connecting with women, sisterhood. Beautiful, beautiful. All of these answers are so beautiful. Okay, so when you get a moment, I want you to close your eyes again. And I want you to feel where you feel that passion in your body. It might be your heart, it might be your belly, it might be your womb. Just feel where that passion lives. Take a few deep breaths into that passion and say yes to that passion. And now, most often, when we feel a call to bring us into the next level of our service, our power, and our mission in life. There's also fear. So go ahead and let whatever fear is there just emerge for a second, whatever story or fear might be there, and just let it arrive. It might be, I'm scared of being seen. It might be, I'm not good enough. I'm not ready. I don't know what to do. It could be a lot of different things. And I just want you to observe it. Just observe it. Be like, okay, I see you. I see you, fear. You can just ask that fear to just stay in the corner a little bit. Just put that fear to the side, because whenever we're being called into something bigger, a bigger arena, a bigger opportunity for ourselves, fear will try to keep us from entering into that arena. Fear will try to keep us small. And it's good to be aware of what that story is, what that fear is, so that we can know when our fear is talking to not really listen, to not listen to it, but to listen to the expansion of the passion. So go ahead, and if you want, you can write what fears you feel in the chat box. And it's good to share, because we'll see that so many of our fears are similar. They're very similar. Yeah. The ancient fear of being persecuted again. I know that one. not being ready, a fear of looking like a fool, fear of rejection, not being good enough, being seen. Yes, feel of not being brilliant enough or magnificent enough. I totally understand. I still can feel that way at times. That it doesn't go in the direction, that it all falls apart. You don't want to cry in front of others. Yes, yes. So let's take a minute and hold all of this fear that we have as women. Let's go ahead and hold space for all of this fear that has arrived. Not just our own fear, but the fear of all of us that's here, the fear of women in general. Let's hold space for that. Let's go ahead and feel that. We can feel the intensity of all that fear. And let's take some collective deep breaths together. And let's unite our thought together to bring light to this darkness, to bring light to these shadowy places. And with our hearts, let's shine love to each woman on this call. Let's encourage and empower each woman on this call to trust in her passion and to not listen to her fear. And let's feel light surrounding each woman. Let's feel and see and imagine light surrounding each woman. And we form this circle. We form this circle of empowerment here on this call. And for those who are watching the replay, we invite women into our circle and we support each other in rising above our fear and stepping into this next chapter for us. This chapter of leadership and magic and healing. And let's take some deep breaths to cleanse this energy of fear and nervousness with some big exhales. Open mouth sighs to help release the energy. Go ahead. That's right. That's right. And let's go ahead and place our hands on our heart. And let's feel our passion once more. Let's feel that this movement that's stirring in our hearts. And let's make a commitment to ourselves to honor this passion, this love that we feel, and to trust it, to trust that it's leading us in a direction that's good for us, that's healing for us, and that's ultimately healing for others. Okay. Thank you for participating in this exercise with me. We can open our eyes. Appreciate this. So now that we're ready, now that we've felt our passion and we've also been real about our fear and we've uplifted that fear and we're letting it go, let's go ahead and dive in to how to lead a women's circle. You ready? All right. So can everybody see my screen here? Yes? Yes, we can see my screen. I need a thumbs up. Okay, great. So let's see. Okay, so you might want to take notes, have your paper with you ready. So the very first step in leading a women's circle, leading a circle in general, is to really understand your intention of that circle. And the exercise we just did, that why, this calling in our hearts, that's part of it. And next step is to really think about, what kind of circle do you want? What do you want your circle to feel like? Do you want to have a few women? Do you want to have a lot of women? And so I suggest, to really understand the intention of your circle, to really do some journaling about this. What kind of circle do you want? Some women choose to have a circle where women just share. Some women choose to have a circle where there's ritual and there's exercises to really enhance the energy of the circle. And I'd also suggest that you choose an intentional day to do your circle. So historically, full moon and new moon is a really great time to host a women's circle. For the global sisterhood movement, we choose the new moon. We choose the new moon for very specific reasons. The new moon is the start of a new cycle. It's a really great time to plant seeds of intention, to let go of the old and create and manifest the new. And why we chose the new moon for circles for the global sisterhood is because, think about it, women are gathering in circle all over the world on the new moon. It's a time to set a new chapter, right? The more of us that do this work on the new moon, the more of us who are setting our intentions for how we want to show up, how we want to live, how we want to experience life. We're doing that in one circle, but we're doing that in thousands of circles. There's an energy of manifestation that we're creating for the world, intention that we're creating for the world. Each time we gather in circle, we don't just gather for ourselves, we gather for the other women, and we gather for women of the world too. So together on the new moon, we're planting seeds of intention for our entire world. The more we transform ourselves, the more we transform our world. And that's why I highly suggest the new moon. It's also when the moon is dark, right? So there's lots of stars in the sky, and it's really a mystical time. And then the full moon is a time of completion. It's a time of letting go. It's a time of harvest and celebration. I know everybody knows about full moon dance parties under the moon with fires. It's more of a time of harvest and celebration. The inner work piece, I prefer and feel it's more relevant on the new moon. So I suggest doing it on the new moon. And note that if you can't do it on the actual day of the new moon, you can do it 3 days before, or you can do 3 days after the new moon. And that's still in that energy of the new moon portal. And also, how many women do you want to invite to your circle? Where do you want to host your circle? That's also part of preparation. So many women choose to host their circle in their homes because it's easy. And know that it's easy to start a circle. You don't have to have 10 women attend your first circle. You can have 2 of your really dear friends. And that's enough to get started. I know a woman who got started with her 2 twin daughters, and then she grew slowly and slowly every month with Global Sisterhood until now she has a circle that has about 20 regular women that come every single month. She totally transformed her life, and she opened a center. And this is a healing center for women where she hosts Global Sisterhood circles every month. So you never know how something small and humble will grow and transform you. So the next really important step is to know how we show up as a facilitator. So first and most important step to this is to really trust who you are. Trust that everything that you've been through in your life, everything that you've learned, everything that you're still learning, everything that you've cultivated, your amazing talents, and the things you're still healing, the things you're still trying to perfect, all of that is what makes you a good facilitator. You do not need to be an expert to be a facilitator. You do not need to be a coach or a healer. If you are a coach or a healer, a circle is a really great way to add to your business by having a community element, and you can infuse some of your work and some of your teachings into your circle. But that's not for everyone. In fact, I would say the majority of women, they host circles just as a normal, everyday woman. And the whole point is to model authenticity, to be real, to be imperfect, and to hold sacred space. So there's a way we can create the sacred space of the container, which I'll go into in a minute. But really, your job as a facilitator is to be warm and open and create a safe place by modeling being loving, being gentle, and also not being passive. You're here to direct the energy of the circle. And I'll go more into that in a minute. But really, you're here to be open and soft and receptive, but also here to make sure that the container is set and that there is a structure and there is a safety. Okay, so creating a sacred space. So part of setting up the safety is to make the space feel sacred. So let's say you're doing a circle in your house or a yoga studio. First step is to clear the energy of the place. So what you can do is you can buy sage or palo santo, or you can do some aromatherapy mists, whatever it is that you like to use to clear energy. You can go around the space and you can clear the energy. You can sing some songs, you can light some candles, you can do whatever is accustomed to you for your tradition to really take the energy that was in the space before, to clear it and to set the mood. And so to set the mood, I love a sacred space full of candles, comfy pillows, dim lighting, maybe some music, maybe something that smells good, whatever is beautiful and exciting to you. And also an altar. So when we create a space and we create a women's circle, it's really beautiful to put something intentional in the middle. So that can be candles, that can be flowers. Some women do a flower mandala. So they take some leaves and they take some petals and they make something beautiful. Often women are invited to bring something sacred to put on the altar to bless. So it's really whatever is comfortable for you. If having something that's too religious or symbolic is uncomfortable for you, you can have some flowers and some candles. And it's just this central focus point. It's this place, it's a way for us to gather around this secret space and create this safe environment. And then also be comfortable, create a comfortable space. And so for some women, that might be yoga mats and pillows on the floor. For other women, that might be chairs. And really just really assess what's the age range of the women who are coming, what's comfortable for them. Okay, so this is a really important slide. We're going to be here for a minute because this is going to be how we set the circle structure. So it's really important that we create a safe container for the level of truth telling that can lead to transformation, and the level of connection and sisterhood that can really add to a woman's experience. And we don't want to be overly structured either. We want to have some room for flow and spontaneity because we want to be able to guide the energy in such a way that there's a container, but there's also some fluidity within it, because something might happen that isn't something you planned for. And it might feel like, okay, this is something good, let's go with this. And it could lead to being a really beautiful experience. I always create a very loose idea of what I'm going to do in a circle. And mostly I follow that, but sometimes I throw it out because I get a download of inspiration, the spontaneous thing I want to do. And that ends up being my favorite thing of the evening. Okay, so first step is the welcome. So just how I said, well, I welcomed all of you, I introduced myself. We say hello, we let everybody know how it's going to go. You might give a little bit of an outline. And then what I always do is I go in and I do a presencing. So I take a few deep breaths. I ask the women to drop in with me. And that really anchors the container so that I don't feel nervous and so that the women feel safe as well. We can settle in together. And then I share guidelines. And the guidelines are very important. And I'll go into them a little bit more later, but I'm going to go into them as well right now. So the guidelines are they set the tone of how we interact with each other, right? So there's a few really important guidelines for every circle. In our Global Sisterhood Guidebook, our facilitator guidebook, we have many guidelines that you can read through, but there's a few that are most important. The most important one to set is in circle. It is a judgment-free zone. So guideline number one is that this is a space that we want to be safe for everyone. And so this is a space of practicing non-judgment. And so what that means is if a woman is sharing and you're feeling triggered by what a woman is saying, we ask that you not judge her. We ask that you really look inside yourself, take a few deep breaths, and find compassion for yourself and compassion for her. And so when this is a judgment-free zone, then each woman has the capacity to really, really be herself. And so that is a really important guideline that I always express. A second really important guideline is the guideline of sacred confidentiality. It's good to remember and to state to all the women who are participating in your circle that in circle, anything that is shared here stays here. And so that means that if a woman is telling a very profound story and you're very moved by that story, it's important that you don't go share her private story outside of the circle. If after the circle closes and that woman wants to speak to the woman who shared the story and say, wow, that was so deep. Do you mind if I don't mention your name, but I share it with my husband? It's connected to something we're going through. And that person grants permission, then of course. But really, we want to practice that this is a safe space for sharing, and what is shared here will not be repeated. And then the third really important guideline is that in circle, when women are sharing, it's important to not coach, fix, or lecture. So, example of this. Let's say that I'm in circle with you and you're leading me through circle, and I'm going through something really, really hard. And I have an emotional experience when I'm going through something hard. And I'm speaking something difficult, and I'm a little bit negative because the situation I'm in, all this emotion is coming up and I'm being a little bit negative. But I know, and you know, that typically I have a good head on my shoulders and I can navigate through life. You don't want a woman in the circle lecturing to me or coaching me or trying to fix my experience. We want you as a facilitator, you want to hold space. You want to say, this energy and this process that you're going through is welcome here. Thank you for sharing. And all the women can just hold space for me. Sometimes I just need to be heard. I just need to be felt. I don't need instructions or advice. Now, after the circle's closed, if a woman feels called to connect with that woman and ask her if she can share something that came up for her when she was sharing, something that might be useful, and that woman is open to receiving it, then there is a good opportunity for a connection to be made. But while the circle is happening, we don't want to be cross-talking over each other or fixing each other. So those are some important general guidelines that are good to know. Okay, so also introductions. So after you give the guidelines, go around and ask each woman in circle to introduce herself. And so what I like to do is I like to say, go ahead and give your name and what called you here tonight. And so they can speak about what drew them here. You could also say, what is your name and what is your intention for tonight? And they can talk about their intention. Or you can do something fun and silly and be like, what's your name and what's the funniest story you've ever had on a date? What's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you on a date? It can be anything like this. It can be whatever you want. It can be an icebreaker, or it can be about intention. And if you have a lot of women in your circle, then it's really important to make sure that women are succinct in their shares. And so you just gauge how much time each woman has to share. And then after that, we begin the circle activities. So the circle activities I'm going to go through in depth in another slide as well, but it's really important to unite the field of energy and take everyone's focus and go through experiences together. And so we have a program called HerCircle, and HerCircle provides exercises and rituals and content and group discussion. And this is a really great way to get really juicy, proven, amazing exercises and rituals to do together. But also women can also make up their own activities that they want to do. And so this is a really great way for women to have a deeper experience than just sharing. It's a way for women to gather around a theme, to gather around an intention, to do a ritual together, and to be able to have an experience of transformation, to have an aha moment, to have a different type of experience than she usually would. And group sharing. So this is really important. So then I suggest after each ritual or each exercise, having a group sharing. So you can have women, if you have a lot of women, you can have women share in pairs of 2 or 3, or you can have each woman go around and share in the group. And then after that, you can set a new moon intention or do some type of close. So the importance of having a beginning and end is really important. So an intentional open and an intentional close is really important. So group dynamics and sharing. So we covered this a little bit, but again, guidelines for the group culture is really important. It helps women feel safe. And your role in this is to model authenticity and sisterhood. So some women, in sharing in a group of women they've never met, they might feel a little shy at first sharing it on a deep level or sharing their truth. So it's really your job as a facilitator not to be someone that's above them, but somebody who's also authentic in sharing. You don't need to necessarily go through the heaviest thing that you're going through or share that, but to also share about what you're learning, share about your genuine experience. Let's say the theme is around sexuality, or let's do a different theme around freeing your voice, speaking your authentic truth. Let's say that's the theme. And you're asking women to share about what their biggest fear is around sharing their truth. It's also good for you to share what your fear is about speaking your truth, to speak about what you're learning about sharing your truth. Your process of growth, your process of who you are authentically, that's what creates the potency. You don't have to be somebody who has it all figured out. In fact, it's the opposite. To share about what you're learning in yourself creates the container for women to be like, okay, I don't have to be perfect either. I can authentically share this. And that's when the sisterhood magic happens. That's when the juicy stuff comes out. That's when women have breakthroughs. That's when revelations take place. And so, as a facilitator, that's really important to model sisterhood. So, the non-judgment, the safety, the warmth, and also the ability to share about your truth too. And again, if we have big groups, having timed shares is really important. So let's say you're going to share with the whole group and you have about 10 women there. You might want to give each woman about 2 minutes to speak. It's sometimes good to have a little bit of a bell. So you can be like, so just so you know, we have a big group. I want everybody to share. I don't want to cut you off, but I will have a little bell so you know when to wrap up. And that way you don't have to be like, excuse me, you're a little long-winded here. And you can just be like, ding, ding, ding. Or if it's a smaller group, you just let women share. It's really up to you. Here's an important thing. So if the group gets scattered or unfocused, somebody makes a joke or there's a deep share or something happens with the ritual where you go into a unique place, you might want to take a moment and bring the energy back into the container. So if the energy gets scattered or unfocused, you might want to take a dance break. You might want to do a little movement practice or take a few deep breaths. Yeah, so let's do that now, actually. Let's take just a few deep breaths. Yeah, refocus the energy. And then also deep listening. So we want to invite the women who are in sister circle with us to listen without thinking about what they're going to say next. So if we're going to be in a group share, it's really important to really hear what a woman is saying. But often I've noticed that when women know that it's going to be their turn next to speak, they might be thinking about, okay, what do I want to say? That woman's share was so powerful. What do I want to say? And it's a really good practice to just invite women to be present and allow whatever their share is going to be to emerge from that moment rather than having it all planned out ahead of time. Great. So this goes back to our resources that I wanted to offer you. So this is an ultimate resource for our sister circle facilitators. So like I said, 15,000 women have been gathering in circle every new moon, and 15,000 women circles have been gathering in hundreds of thousands of women. And we provide, based on what women have told us they need, we have created this resource. So we've created a monthly theme packet, which includes a theme for the month that's connected to the zodiac sign. And this theme has different wisdom within it. So it has teaching prompts, it has self-work exercises so that you can do some self-work on yourself before you go and host the circle. So say the theme is around being seen. You can do some self-work and really understand what you feel and believe and understand about what it means to be seen, what it means to be seen for yourself, what it means to be seen as a woman. And you can really prepare for your circle this way. And also we provide discussion prompts and visualizations within this theme packet as well. In addition, we provide a new transformational ritual every single month. And this is a really mystical, beautiful ritual that's about healing and about revelation and about having a deeper experience. And so one ritual would be potentially like women taking candles and honoring our ancestors. It could be so many different things that we provide, but it's a really beautiful ritual that you can take and you can adopt, or you can just not use. But most women really love our ritual. It's what they want to use mostly, and they can make it and change it to fit their needs. Also, we do an inner work. We provide an inner work exercise, which is an exercise that is for the women in the circle to do. So a self-reflection practice that actually really helps women have clarity, so they can come to your circle and they can have a deeper understanding about something that they previously wouldn't have even thought about. One thing we hear a lot of in circles is like, wow, I love having a circle with a theme because I didn't even realize how relevant this theme was for me at this time. And doing this work actually led me to understanding that this particular theme is connected to this issue in my life. And so that's where the inner work exercise is really helpful. And also we have our signature heart meditation. So when I told you the story of 650 women's circles gathering on the new moon, or on International Women's Day, which also was a new moon, and continue to gather every new moon, the beauty of it is each woman did the exact same meditation. And that's our heart meditation, and it's a favorite of our community. And it's a meditation where women can hold hands with each other in circle, and they're guided to really feel all that is within each woman's journey. And then it takes you out into the greater collective, the greater movement. And you go through this meditation of feeling all of the women's circles that are gathering on this night. And it's a really beautiful and powerful experience. Many women report feeling the energy, this like energy of being connected to the whole movement. And then also in HerCircle, you have a private facilitator Facebook group community of women who are also facilitators. So this is a place where all questions are asked, like, how do I get more women to my circle? Or what do you do if a man wants to come to the circle? Or what do you think about this meditation? And it's really a way where women who are stepping into their leadership, like we all are, who are leading circles, can really support each other in a global way and have a global community, and also have accountability and inspiration. Also, we provide an astrological forecast every single month, and it has a beautiful telling of what's going on in the stars, so that you can also present that to your community as well. And in addition, we provide a pep talk. So a pep talk will be from me, and it will be me kind of musing on the theme. What's going on this time, this season? How is it relevant? How does this theme tie into the greater movement of women rising to their power at large, and kind of give you a pep talk and get ready for your circle, as well as a circle marketing toolkit. So if you're ready to expand your circle beyond just a few friends, we help you do so through our marketing toolkit. Okay, and I'll talk more about this in a little bit. So next, I want to bring on, you might see here, I have some women's circles here. I have Annika's circle here, and I also have Christine's circle here, and I have a few facilitators who I would love to bring on and have them speak some. And so let's bring them on. So Christine, Annika, Linda, one of you I'd love to bring on in this moment. How about Linda? Linda, do you want to unmute yourself? Hi. Hi, Linda.
Okay, here we go. Hi.
Oh, it's so good to hear somebody else's voice. I've been talking so much.
You have a beautiful voice, so I'm sure we don't mind.
Oh, thank you. So Linda, How long have you been facilitating women's circles?
It's gonna be a year this month, actually.
Awesome. And how did you get started?
I got started because a few years ago, I just had the inkling. And then when I ran into the Global Sisterhood and, you provided everything for me to do so, it just empowered me and I took the leap. And I'm very grateful I did.
Mm. And what is the greatest transformation that you have experienced um, for yourself in leading women's circles?
Seeing that my intentions of healing affect not just me, but others, and that it is a medicine that we are sharing, and that we can deeply work to that each one of us has so much power within us, and if we take a step into that power, how much it can transform not just ourselves but those around us.
Mm, that's beautiful. And what about the women who attend your circle? What's a transformation that you've seen happen for them?
I've seen many transformations from them. It's quite interesting. One of them came in saying that she was in a really struggling relationship, but she knew that that's what she needed to be. And just a few months ago, actually left the man because she felt that she was lying to herself in a sense,
Wow.
and that was not a place for her after all. And she said it came from our conversations. Another one was taking medications and felt empowered and intuitively knew that that wasn't a thing for her to do. So she dropped them and was very grateful for that as well. And just on and on, things like that, that you see women, what they feel intentionally, what they are guided to do, and then they have the power to do so after sitting in circle with us.
Mm, that's awesome.
It is.
What is your biggest piece of advice to the women who are on the call, all 281 of us, and all the women who are listening? What is your biggest piece of advice for us to in sitting in circle? What would you suggest?
So the first one is that if you're going to be leading a circle, it is important to follow the guidance that Lauren has shared. Follow those steps. Make sure all the rules are upfront and centered. I was somewhat lax with the rules, and then I added them a little bit later, and it cost me some of my members because they didn't like that. So to be upfront with everything, and it's okay to set a timer. It's okay to ring that little bell. It's okay to invite them to keep the conversation going after the circle is closed. And that it's okay that we all make mistakes and you're human. And as long as you're coming from a place of deep love and intention, that it's all going to work out.
Oh, that's great
Mhm.
advice. It's important as a facilitator to be open and relaxed, but also to guide the container and to hold the
Yes.
space. And the women will really appreciate that because it provides safety for them.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming here.
It was my pleasure.
Okay, where's Annika? Annika, where are you, girl? You wanna unmute yourself and come on?
Can
Hi,
you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello, how are you? How is everyone? Hope all is well. So thankful for this opportunity. Thankful for you and Global Sisterhood.
Oh, I'm thankful for you, my sister. Thank you. So tell us how long you've been facilitating circles.
I want to say about 4 years.
And how did you get started?
I went through what some people call the dark night of the soul and experienced the loss of my father and lost my job and became homeless and went through a divorce all at the same time.
Wow.
And I lost myself in the grief of all that I went through, and just really did not know how to recover. And as I started to heal myself, I started to really connect with spirit and asked, what do I need to do to heal? And when I started to work on healing myself and started to deepen my connection with spirit, I went through a radical healing process. And once I started to heal and realized that I had a lot of work to do, I felt in my spirit that if I was going through a lot and needed some healing, that there may be other women who could benefit from my journey. And that's what led me to start the circles.
That is beautiful. What's the biggest transformation you've experienced? It's a big
The big one would have to be really embodying my own heroine's journey. And I am so thankful for December, the Sagittarius, that new moon, this information and these activities and rituals really supporting that process about really stepping into our heroine's journey. The materials in HerCircle has revolutionized my practice as a facilitator. And I can honestly say that because of HerCircle, Global Sisterhood, and the staff of Global Sisterhood, that my transformation has really expanded just because of my connection with you all. So my biggest transformation has really been extracted from my own heroine circle. And I realized that just recently after going through the materials that was released on Tuesday.
Oh, that is so good to hear. Love that. So what would be your
So true.
So what would be your biggest piece of advice? What have you done that has helped you the most that you would invite these women to do it in order to create a circle and feel comfortable creating a circle?
My biggest advice would have to be, I definitely believe in a higher power, and I believe in spirit. And because of that, I offer all of my circles to the divine. And I know that independent of spirit, I can't do this work. And because I am surrendered and submitted to the power and presence of the source that is bigger than all there is, I trust that when I offer my circles to the divine, that because of the trust in that spirit will come in and run the show. I totally know that it is not about me. And because I know that it's not about me, I'm able to step out of the way, get out of the way, and just let spirit do what spirit does, and which is use me as a catalyst for change and transformation, and to use me as a healing balm for the women who have been attracted to come to my circle.
Yes, beautifully, beautifully said. Thank you so much, Annika. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Christine, where are you, Christine? Oh, I see you. Can you unmute yourself?
I'm trying. There. Hi.
Hi. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you.
Yes, very good to see you. Thank you for this invitation and for sharing so much of your vision and self in the whole global sisterhood movement that we see today. It's been really helpful to me for sure.
I want everybody here to know that Christine has the most beautiful property where she holds her circles, and I have such envy. I want to go one day. It's called Kinstone, and there's these beautiful rocks. It's just amazing.
Right, right. And that's very much why I started Sister Circles, is this property that I have. So in 2011, I started building this property, and it was definitely an awakening and a calling, and it's just so unbelievably magical and crazy that I have now become what I call a land listener, and I say the land has called me to do the sister circles. The land has called me to figure out ways to help people reconnect with each other, with land, with spirit, whatever that is. So that's why I started the sister circles on International Women's Day, March 8th, 2016,
You're
when
an
you guys
original.
first started. Yeah, yeah.
An OG. Oh, it's
Mm-hmm,
so awesome. And
mm-hmm.
we've grown. We've grown a lot.
Yes, a lot, and it's been wonderful.
And how have using our resources and being a part of her circle, how has that helped you?
So every month I look at the resources that you provide, and in the early days we didn't have as much personal inner work suggestions, but those are very helpful. But I find the messages that you give to us as facilitators are there's so much good stuff in there that I like to kind of distill it and actually share it at the women's circle as well, so that they're getting some of the global sisterhood, HerCircle messaging over and above our group, whoever's sharing in our group. So I look at those every month. I create my own little guideline paper or it's several sheets of paper. So in case I'm not available to lead, there's been a number of women that come very often to my circles, and they're comfortable just taking my guideline paper and just following it through. And it includes all of the discussion questions and thoughts. So that's been really helpful to be able to cut and paste from yours into mine and then make changes as I need.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that's what they're for, it's for like, here's a lot of information. Here's all sorts of things you can do that are really deep and powerful. Take what works for you and add your own flavor to it.
Right.
That's what we really, really encourage.
Mm-hmm.
So what's been your biggest transformation that you've experienced?
So I guess it's the idea that I don't have to always be right or have to have the answers. I am from a corporate job. I mean, I left a corporate position where I was, leader in the company, and you just have to be on and know all the answers, and people are looking for you to just know those things, that whatever they're looking for. Here, in these women's circles, I find that there are so many strong women, and they don't even realize it, and they're imparting wisdom that I'm soaking up constantly. And so I've really learned that I don't have to be the one who's sharing the most, organized thoughts for that day, or that I have the answers for these women. I have learned, and what I would advise is, keep your ears open for what women are saying and where they're coming from and what their talents are, and then use that. We've had people who are, yoga or movement people do even 2 minutes of mindful movement as an activity for us, or meditation practitioners who teach us a little bit of meditation just for 2 or 3 minutes, or you just other writers, singers, people who want to share just a little bit about what they can do, or what their talent is. And when you give over the leadership of that circle to more than just yourself, you feel less fear, and also you're engaging them more, and they want to participate more because they're able to share in ways that aren't just the sharing circle.
That is amazing advice. Thank you. Thank you so much for that advice. I 100% agree. Having a friend that you can rely on as time goes on, and you guys can bounce back and forth. Why I was like, Shayna, be ready. If I space out, I want you to come in and talk for me, because it's really helpful. Because it's scary, like you said, in the corporate masculine leadership type of environment. We have to be on. You have to be perfect. You have to be polished. You have to give a presentation without stuttering. I will never do that. That will never be me.
Right.
And in circle, it doesn't matter. In circle, we can be with each other, and bounce back and really support each other. And that's what elevates the experience.
Right.
Thank you so much, Christine. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So everyone, I wanted to, before we go into Q&A, I really want to thank you so much for spending this hour with us, and for being here, and for following the call in your heart to learn this. I feel like it's my mission in the world to help women step into this role so that they can help all the women that they're going to help, and those women are going to help all the women that they're going to help, and we're going to continue to grow this movement. So I really want to thank you for trusting me with your time, trusting us with your time. And because you have spent your time with us, I really want to give you a gift. And so I want to give you a gift of a HerCircle membership. HerCircle, I went through everything about it. It's super powerful. It's super helpful. It's usually $288 for a whole year. So it's pretty cheap, actually. It's $24 a month for a whole year, getting all of that every month. But I want to give you a significant amount of money off. I want to give it to you for $198 for being here. But this is only for the next until midnight our time, because I really want to honor the women who carved out time to be on this call. I want to give you a special gift as a thank you. And so there's a code, and the code is YOULEAD. And Shayna's going to put it into the, yes, she put it right there. So you can go right here, you can click globalsisterhood.org HerCircle-landing, and the code when you check out is YOULEAD, and you'll get $80-something off. It's quite a lot of money off. Almost $90 off. And so I wanted to offer you guys that. And so even if you're not ready to start your circle right now, it will still be a year's worth of information and content that you can have. And then you'll be a part of our Global Sisterhood Facilitator community right away. You'll be invited into the Facebook group. You can ask more questions. And to incentivize you even more, because I know how much fear can get in the way. Like, oh, that's money I don't want to spend, or da da da. I don't want you to do that to yourself. If you feel a call, I want you to take the leap. That's why this webinar is called Take the Leap. And I want to incentivize you even more by giving an extra gift to the first 30 women who sign up. I'm going to invite you to a virtual circle that I'm leading with the theme, The Heroine's Journey. So when Annika was speaking about that theme, The Heroine's Journey, how everything that we've been through in our lives has shaped us and made us ready to share our truth and story with others. It's a circle about that. So we'll be doing all sorts of exercises and rituals to get you feeling really confident about your leadership, about your story, and what you're here to give. And so for the first 30 women who sign up, we're going to give you a free ticket to the virtual circle. So if anybody's interested, I want to see your hand. Are you interested in HerCircle? Yes? Good, awesome. Well, I'm really excited for you to join. So go ahead and do that now. We're going to give you this code, YOULEAD, all caps. And then you can join us and we can learn, and I'll be here to answer questions. All the women who spoke will be here to answer questions. And then also you'll be able to be on the virtual circle. And for those of you who are watching the replay of this, we want to also honor you. We had 2,000 women sign up, and we also know that time zones are an issue and not everyone can join live. So we want to offer you a special discount too. It's not the discount that we're offering women on the live call, but it is a very special discount, and the price will go up in a few days. So we'll be sending some emails. And so if you're interested, please take this chance and be a part of our beautiful community. The work you're going to do is going to be amazing. It will transform your life. And of course, you can lead a women's circle without this resource. Of course, you don't need HerCircle to lead a women's circle, but it is so helpful, and we've made it so that it helps a lot. Okay, so I have time to answer some questions. So if anybody has some questions, you can raise your hand. And Shayna, will you call on a few people? So how you raise your hand, by the way, is you go to participants, and then you can, hey
Melissa, I have you on the call.
Okay. Hello?
Maybe she didn't mean to raise her hand. I'll call on someone else.
Okay.
I'm going to call on Carrie.
Okay.
Hi, Carrie.
Carrie? Oh.
Okay. I'm going to call on Andromeda. Can we hear you? Hello? You're unmuted.
So I got a question from Victoria. So the circle activities we mentioned, so there's different rituals every month that we offer, different group inner work exercises. There are ones around ancestral healing, there's ones around womb healing, there's ones about like calling in the women of the past, the suffragettes, there's ones that are calling in the forces of nature. I mean, it ranges with each theme. So the themes of the Global Sisterhood that are some of our favorites are liberation through forgiveness, redefining beauty, my body, my rules. We have free the voice, I speak my authentic truth. We have radical visibility, fearlessly, authentically me. We have all these themes that are pertinent to a woman's transformation, and we create a ton of content with exercises and rituals that help enable a transformation within that theme. So that's to answer Victoria's question. Okay, let's try to get somebody on here. Anybody else have their hands raised? Okay, maybe the raising hand function isn't working. You want to go like this and I can scroll through and see if you have any questions? Okay. Okay, we have Alicia. You're raising your hand. Okay, Alicia, do you want to unmute yourself? Can you unmute yourself in the corner? Maybe we don't know how. You are unmuted.
I think her hand was raised from something earlier. Let me see. Neva. I want to talk to Neva.
Neva.
Hello.
Hi, Neva.
No, I had a quick question, Lauren. I was a little confused about something. So HerCircle, I know, has all of the materials, but I've been getting something about the virtual circles. Are those extra, or is that part of the HerCircle material too?
So virtual circles are something that we offer that is not a part of HerCircle. HerCircle
Okay.
is something you need to facilitate your own women's circle, and the virtual circle is something we're offering our community for women who want to attend one of our circles.
Okay. Okay, I see. Okay. That's what I needed. Thank you.
No problem. Do you have any questions? So I had that question, what is the price for the resources over 12 months? So with the discount that we're offering today, it's $16 a month. So it's $198 upfront, and it's $16 a month, which $16 a month for this transformational experience is like the cost of a yoga class. And it's something that you're offering to other women. So it's an investment into like your own well-being, but also it's a way to give back to them. And that's one thing we didn't cover, which I think is really important, which is a good question actually, is around, do you charge for your circle? And so my suggestion is absolutely yes. I would charge for your circle at least a donation to cover the space if you're renting a space or your home. So if you're going to start off small with a few friends, have that be a free one, but then let them know, would you pay, ask them, would you pay a donation for this to do this again? And then you build it from there. But it's really about us valuing ourselves. For so long, the Global Sisterhood created all of this, and we created content that we gave for free. And we realized really what we could do so much better is that if we put a price on it, a price that's reasonable for people to afford, we can expand this work to more women. And it's really about women valuing themselves. It's about us valuing our time, valuing our energy, even if we don't think that we are we don't have some type of certification. That doesn't mean that what we're offering, the space we're not, the space we're holding, everything we're providing isn't valuable. So the $16 you can easily make back a month by hosting your circle. You can make more than that a month. So it's really exquisite price and deal that we're offering. I'm seeing some more shares, questions. So we had a technical, oh, you had a technical issue to unmute. Okay. All right. Any more questions before we end? Because if we...
Hi, Kylie, you're unmuted.
Cool.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi from Australia. This is us. This is me and my daughter.
Hi. Beautiful. What's her name?
This is Mia.
Mia. Hi, Mia.
I had a question about just with the Global Sisterhood Pack and the Zodiac in the Southern and Northern Hemisphere. How does that work with people on the other side of the globe? We're in opposite seasons and things like that. Is it still really relevant information for us to use for the circles?
100%. Yes, we have many women in that situation. We often consider the hemispheres, and so we will often write about what's different. Like if it's the spring equinox or the fall equinox here, we address that. So we definitely talk about that. And actually, what you'll find is that in spring and also in fall, there's similar types of energies. They're just the opposite of the spectrum. So we account for that.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Allison, you raise your hand by clicking clicking participants. And then, bye, Mia. Okay, Stacy, how do we feel about teen girls circles? I love this question. I think teen circles are the best, most beautiful thing we can possibly give to the next generation. I've actually helped initiate a teen sister circle program here locally in Austin, and I've sat in circle with some of these women, for some of these girls for a 6-week series. We did teen circles every week for 2 hours for 6 weeks, and we took these women through a lot of global sisterhood content. We just altered it a little bit so that it was good for their age. Also, I actually invite certain teenagers to come to an adult circle, but it depends on the circle and it depends on the age. Like 16, 17 for a few circles I think is really good. And then also some women do mother-daughter circles as well. So that's also something you can create. So teen circles, any special tools to come? We have a teen program, like I said, that was just initiated and a curriculum that's being built right now. We've already done our first test run and we're continuing to do it with more circles. And so once that curriculum is built, we will have that curriculum to offer women.
I have another woman coming on the line. Hold on. Hello. Your name here is Mesquio, if I'm saying that right.
Oh, Melissa.
Melissa.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Melissa. How's it going?
Hi. Good, great. I have a question. I have had a women's group for a year now, just sort of using my own tuition, and I've done a lot of classes and whatnot. And so I think this might be a really good fit for my group. If for some reason it's not, respectfully, is there a way to kind of cancel the tuition at some point? If it's, are you flexible, or is it the whole year paid up front is my question.
It's for this particular offer.
Sure.
Right now, it's the whole year up front. But
okay,
my feeling is you're not going to have an issue. So,
no doubt. No
yeah,
doubt.
because you can do what a lot of women do. They use it as a lot of really good content and they make it their own.
Gotcha.
I highly recommend that, especially for somebody who is intuitive and leads and has their own thing going on, to use it as a resource for you to fuel your own passion. So it doesn't all have to come from up here, but it can also, you can have this like solid foundation to work from and bring your special talents and gifts and insights through.
Gotcha. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Do we have any more questions coming? I got a question about marketing the circle. So with marketing the circle, I would really suggest that in the beginning, creating, like when you're setting the intention, if it's your first circle ever, really think about who you want to be there. Maybe it's just people in your life, and create a list of people that you want to be there. And then you just privately invite them. But then if you're wanting to go a little bit bigger, do it in a yoga studio or something like that, there's ways you can work with that yoga studio and put some flyers up in that yoga studio. There's also Facebook event pages to get more women. We can cover that a lot more, not probably today, all the expensive marketing tools, but as a part of HerCircle, if you join, you can ask as many marketing questions and we can help you with that. Do we have any more questions? I think somebody's still not muted. There we go. There we go. Do you have any more questions before we go? Oh, Heather has a question. Heather, do you want to unmute yourself?
Heather, you're unmuted.
Hi, Heather. Uh-oh.
You might not know. Hi, Heather. Let's see.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was just wondering if anyone does any of these circles with children.
Yes. Yes, there are definitely people who do circles with children. Yep. The content that is a part of HerCircle is not really best for children, but women do circles with children all the time. I think there's a little bit of disturbance.
I muted her.
Okay. So, but yes, having like mother and children circles are really lovely. Obviously the content of what goes in that circle can change with age, but there's mothers with babies. That's a really nice circle. There's children, circles for children. It's sometimes hard to keep the children focused at too young of an age. So really around the 10 to 12 area are they really able to focus, and you really want to make it light and fun. I've never been in a circle with boys, but I've only been in a circle with young girls. Okay, we have time for one more question before we do a little closing meditation.
Hi, Alicia? Alicia, are you here?
Oh. All right, I think that's time for us to do a little closing meditation. Let's go ahead and close our eyes and just place our hands on our hearts and really absorb all that we received today, taking what we want of it and leaving what doesn't resonate, just leaving it behind and just taking all the goodness from this experience, really channeling it towards what comes next in our lives, the next chapter for us, whether that be to start a circle or whatever that may be. Let's use this as fuel for our lives and our evolution and our service. And with that, let's send love and light to each other for being on this call together. And we can open our eyes. And our training and our experience today is officially complete, my sisters. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope to see more of you in HerCircle. And if not, you can still contact us and let us know how your circle goes. Please be a part of this movement with us. Please help spread this light. We love you so much. Thank you so much. So we can take everybody off mute real quick and it'll be this explosion of sound and we can say goodbye. Ready? You want to do that, Shayna?
Let's find.
It's gonna be loud. Oh, the anticipation.
Here they all are.
YOULEAD is so mais uma coisa.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Hi, and if you guys have any questions, email us at support@global. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.